Okay, so we're in my bathroom. I have my, 1000th day pandemic quarantine bun, like most of you. My scalp is dry and itchy, even though I haven't put much on it. My skin is the same. My teeth are wine stained, so we are ready to go. I'm going to wash this and then dry it. And our first tutorial will be about curling with a flat iron. I feel like we have all gotten here where like you cannot fix the front parts, yeah, but like the bottom, you are not gonna run your fingers through that. She's not letting go. This is like Rose and Jack on the Titanic. She's never letting go until she is secured the diamond, and Jack is not coming for it anymore. So first things first, most people when they are going to flat iron or curl their hair in any way always seem to, if they use heat protectant at all, which we'll talk about that, put on the heat protectant and then instantly start straightening or curling their hair, which is essentially cooking your hair if you don't have the kind of heat protection that's more aerosolized, that almost like instantly dries on your hair, because you do not want to put a hot tool right on top of hair that's still wet, because technically you're kind of cooking your hair. I try different ones all the time. Right now I am using this Redken one. It's a multi-benefit one. I do not like, see if you can see that, I do not like having 15 products in my hair, so this one helps kind of detangle and condition, and it has heat protection too. But like most heat protectants, it's kind of wet. So like if you spray it, you can see it's still very shiny. It hasn't absorbed yet. So instead of starting this tutorial out with, here's the flat iron and how we're gonna do it, I'm gonna be realistic about it, obviously. So I'm gonna spray it in my hair, and I have a lot of hair and it's very long, so you wanna make sure you get it all over. And yes, if you blow dried your hair last night and you're gonna flat iron it today, I recommend reapplying. You wanna get a brush, I'll be right back, or a comb, and make sure that you're evenly distributing it. You've got tens of thousands of hairs on your head, even if you have fine hair, and there is absolutely no way that if you spray it on and don't brush it through or comb it through, that you're going to distribute it evenly. Think of heat protectant as like sunscreen. You wouldn't just put it on your nose, you gotta blend it in everywhere. So because that's still wet and I can feel it, now my hair feels kind of cool. I am now going to do skincare and a makeup routine. Not that I'm going to see anyone today, but that is a great way to make sure that your heat protectant has fully dried before you put a hot tool on it. So I will be right back. So again, you don't have to put on your makeup, but it's kind of a good habit to get in to put your heat protectant on before you start your routine, so you know your hair is going to be dry, because the last thing we want is to damage hair that is probably already damaged by bleach and letting it grow without getting a trim if you're me. So first I am going to find roughly where my part is, part my hair down to the ear for my first section. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Now the idea behind curling with a flat iron is much like when you were a little kid at Christmas, or maybe you still do it, and you have a flat piece of ribbon and a flat blade from the scissors, and you pull it and you turn and you pull straight out, and all of a sudden it's curled. Same thing for hair. Same concept, just a lot more frustrating because your head and your hair are stationary and you have to move your arms around it. So one side is always going to be more comfortable than the other. It's a new skill. It's going to be a little frustrating. Just dive in, we're not going anywhere. Nobody's gonna see our hair, so get it messed up and then make a nice messy bun, because messy buns look great if you wear it with a little curl. So, okay, split it in half. So I first work with this piece here. So now I've got it divided. Hair that has yet to be curled, hair that has yet to be curled, hair that's about to be curled. And you'll see why that works in a second. But if this is all too much, just take a clip and clip that hair away. Okay, so again, we're gonna go in very gently. You don't have to like clamp this thing all the way down, you know what I mean? Like don't white knuckle it. It just has to gently close. So gently close, and we're gonna turn it like a half turn, and then pull it straight out. Now this is what's gonna happen, right? All that hair falls out and you get really frustrated and you're like, oh, I got a kink in there, that doesn't look good. So pull it, try and get that hair around, pull straight out, make sure that this little tail is getting fed in, okay? And voila, here you go. It's a nice loose curl, that kind of trendy, I would say Instagram worthy beachy curl. That's a nice loose curl. So let's try it again. Now I have old kind of long bangs, so there's no point in trying to put these two together, right? Because they're obviously very different lengths. So I'm gonna take this little guy here, try and come in closer. I'm gonna lightly turn, catch that tail, just make sure all the hair is being fed through. Keep going straight, let it out. Okay, if it's too curly, now is the time to play with it. It's hot, so you can still loosen it up, and the style isn't set in yet. If you know that your hair always drops a curl, like it never ever ever lasts, which is not a problem I have, but if you do, then don't touch it, curl all of your hair, let it cool down, that'll help it set as much as possible. If your hair is like mine and it holds and holds all day, and that is clearly too curly for the style that I want to go for, lightly, no white knuckling, just go over it one time and it's going to relax that curl. Now, as you can see, it's pretty easy to tell the difference between not straightened hair, or not curled hair, and curled hair. So that's why I don't like to use too many clips, because that adds another step. It's very easy to pick this one chunk up and work on that. So we're gonna do it again. We'll try a different angle. Okay, softly like this, turn like a half turn for just a loose little wave, pick up the ends, pull it through, oh, I dropped it again, pull it all the way through, down to the end, whoop. Look at that, got another curl, nice and loose. If you want it curlier, you can even take it and turn it and then pull out. It's gonna make it a lot curlier. Okay. So it's really all about how much you are turning your flat iron is how curly your hair is gonna be. Think about like turning up the volume on it. If you want something super curly, you're gonna turn it and then pull out. If you just want something soft and loose, you are gonna turn it maybe a quarter turn and then pull out. And if you really like I said, more of a modern kind of beachy look, then you take the tips and softly just go through the tips one time. And there you have it. This look is kind of like an unstructured, kind of messy, curly thing, so you don't have to have the most polished pieces of hair. To you, it might look a little messy if this is your first time doing it. I promise to other people it looks good. It's like messy buns and handwriting. You always hate your own, but everybody else really likes yours. So just give it a whirl. Give it some time to grow on you. It's a new style. All right, so this piece on this side, because I'm parted off so it's a little thicker, I'm gonna break this into two again. So again, because I'm starting with the hairs that are lower or in the front, I can push that away and it's really easy to keep my hair organized. All right, give it a finger rake. We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna get as close as possible so you can see. See, I'm barely closing it. I turn and then pull straight out, and I feel a lot better on this side than I did on the other side. There's a difference between trying to pull like this and going like this. Okay, so remember, it's not that you didn't do the curl right, it might just look funky. Or it might just be funky. All right, give it a go again. Turn it, pull it out, spin it in the right direction, and then smooth her down. All right, again, it starts out looking crazy, that's fine. If you have it turned down to where you don't have to go quickly through the hair. I should have started with that. A lot of people are worried like, it's gonna get so hot, it's gonna burn. Not if you have it at the right temperature, okay? Because the first couple passes, it's going to take a couple tries, and if you're gonna go back a couple of times, which I recommend you do as little as possible, you want to have it on a lower setting, okay? So let's try this with a different arm angle. Maybe me doing this one, turning and pulling, is feeling super uncomfortable for you. So let's go with another one. Let's go in this way, okay? So we want to go away from our face. So see, I'm turning it this way, I'm finding the tail, I'm pulling her straight out. Okay, look at that, still curled, right? If you want, organize those pieces. And this one, just a little clamp. You don't even hear that click. That's how gentle I'm being. Direction. So now we've got one side curled. I don't even really know how it looks because I can't see, but we keep going. Why? Because when we do our hair, it's not about what it looks like now, it's about how we finish. Yes? All right, so we've got a massive amount of hair. I'm gonna turn so you see how much we still have left. Whew. No wonder people don't do this all the time, right? It's exhausting. Got a bunch of hair still left here. So I'm going to try and get the most frustrating part for me done is the center back section. It is the part that a lot of people standing behind you will see, you will never see, and it's the hardest to reach because our arms just don't go like that. I'm a pretty inflexible person. It's very frustrating. Okay, this is a big chunk of hair. It's a lot. It's gonna be many rows. So if you're like, oh Nicole, how do I do this because I wanna save time? You know what? Styling your hair is not necessarily the most time-saving thing. What does save you time is the fact that maybe you do this and it stays in for the next day and then you only have to refine a few pieces, smooth out some of the ends, and that might save you time, okay? The first couple times you do it, and I mean many times, probably the first 10 times that you do this, it's gonna take way more time than once you're comfortable doing it. It just takes practice. So let's say you have to go back over it, okay? That's okay because we were gentle and we're not using too much heat. So we're just gonna turn it and pull it. Give that end a little love. And we're good. She's back. Look at that. All right. It's okay to make mistakes, especially when you're going for a more messy, beachy look. You have to let it be messy, right? A little unorganized. Naturally beachy hair, if you just got out of the ocean, let your hair air dry, it's not going to be these perfect uniformed ribbon curls. It's going to be a little messy. So let it be messy, okay? Forgive yourself. We're in a pandemic. We can only try so hard for so long. We're just working through this. This is going to be a perfect time for you to try it and mess up and get super frustrated, and maybe you only get through half of your head before you go back to pandemic bun and she just lives up here for a while. That's okay. It's a great time to practice, right? It's a great time to practice makeup tutorials, hair tutorials, because we're not going out for a while, and then when we re-emerge, we are going to look amazing, right? We are just going to look like a member of the Kardashian family. Full glam all the time, right? From here on out, we're full glam all the time. We'll see about that. All right. Do it again. Done. I play with my hair a lot while I'm doing it because, again, my hair will hold the curl really well, and I just don't want it to look overly curly like this guy here. Where'd you come from? Okay. There we go. So sometimes I even say, if you're gonna go back over pieces, turn it down. If you have a dial, turn it down. And remember not to clamp super hard. And literally, not even fully closing it, just to smooth these out. See, not fully closing it. Just gonna go through and soften my curl up. Yeah? You can feel it's still got some heat, just not a lot. And it relaxed everything just a little bit. So same for these guys here. These are the most sensitive pieces of my hair personally, and most people's, because highlighting ways too, we normally start around the face, and again, these are baby hairs. So not even fully closing it, just moving it straight through. Calms those guys down, okay? So now we have our messy, beachy hair, but wait, there's more, right? We need to put a little product in it. Also, if you know you get oily quickly, I have a lot of clients that say that all the time, like, oh, I'd love to go an extra day, but I get too oily. You can use dry shampoo. This is the one I'm using right now. Another bestie turned me onto this. I just love the way it smells, and it does the job. use this proactively, right? Like the same way if you knew that your skin was going to get really oily, and chances are if your scalp gets oily, your face gets a little oily too. Use it proactively. If you knew your face was going to get oily, you might put something mattifying on it. You might put something that kind of like dries, or a powder to set it so it absorbs it when it happens. Same thing for this. So if you know you're an oily gal, get your roots, okay? Let it set up. You can see it kind of has that little powder. And then shake it out. There's no shame and nothing wrong with putting a little in before it gets oily to kind of pre-treat it. Be proactive, not reactive, right? All right, so we're feeling good. We got shiny ends that are moisturized. We've got texturized mids throughout. If shiny is not your thing, you can first put in that stuff because it's always good to lock in some moisture in there. And then just put a little more dry shampoo or texturizer through there. Pull, play. You really want it to get undone and piecey. All right, so we're at the very end here. If there are some pieces that you want to refine them. Just remember, you don't have to clamp down and put tons of heat on those pieces. And that is the finished look, guys. I hope that you enjoyed tutorial number 1 with a bit of education on there. And the next one, maybe we will do curling with a curling iron, since a lot of you have a curling iron as well. And then maybe if you have both, you can see which one actually feels the most comfortable for you. So who is ready to go back to the living room? I know I am. Okay guys, that's the first tutorial for curling your hair with a flat iron. I hope this gave you some inspiration and education and a jumping off point for using your flat iron to curl instead of just straighten.